Welcome back to the second series here of our opening day of the StarLadder DPC minor event here. We've had a lengthy technical delay. Guys, my understanding is that that was nothing here on the local side. Nothing could be done. So we had to unfortunately wait it out, but we are once again back and we apologize for keeping you waiting. Here in our second series, we have a rematch against CIS versus NA. This time, Gambit, one of the darlings of the early DPC season, showed some great results, are going to go up against KheZu, recently rechristened with a brand new sponsor here coming in, as well as a fresh and reinvigorated roster with the addition of Oliver, Skeeter, and KheZu. As you can see on the screen, the opening bands are underway, and I'm joined once again by Kyle and Lizard. Guys, how do you see the drafting matchup between these two teams?
Well, it's interesting that KheZu, they're all seeing it through their glasses, which I also have realized that I need, whereas Gambit, no glasses to be seen. So these two teams actually do see this through a completely different lens.
That's next level analysis as usual from Kyle.
Very well played.
Here's a hero that has been trending upward both in pubs and in the competitive scene recently. Clockwork's gotten a lot of play, wasn't touched in the opening series, and Snapfire somehow makes it through the first phase bans. Yeah. Did get those nerfs in 724V.
They were not real nerfs. That hero is still absolutely busted.
You still have ways of getting out of the clock's cogs because of the cookie, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, but now when you have this tricky clock combo, I actually love this quite a lot because you have your cogs, you have your smoke screen.
But it just makes the value of a force staff that you already need because there's a clock even better. And yeah, you might get the snap, but if the snap's not in the clock cogs, then you just cookie that guy.
No, that's true.
It's painful for me having to agree with Kyle, but no, I actually think there's some anti-synergy in terms of the vulnerability to force staff in the two heroes. They're not necessarily a great laning combination, the two of them. It's just, it doesn't tick a lot of the boxes for me that I want to see in a strong open.
Yep, and the Rubik pick to me is more of a deny pick than anything else because XS Vampire I think is the best on the hero in CIS. I'm honestly surprised they don't just straight up first pick it for him because I think he's that good at it.
They just valued the clock this time around a bit more, right? But he is an amazing Rubik player.
And I guess you look at the bans, right? With no Batrider, with no Chen, with no Timber, the clock does seem much better. And now you're going to take out the PL. You know, I get it. I just don't. The problem, you know what problem I have with clock is that you need there's 12 heroes that can't be in the game for clock to be good.
Right. One good thing for clock,
like Nyx Assassin was for a long time. It's basically like a bunch of extra bans.
Yeah.
One good thing though for Clock is the fact that he can mess up with the lane equilibrium on his zone, and because of that you can strategically place your supports a little bit differently than you usually can, right? You can put them, you don't have to necessarily dual lane with him, he can just mess on that lane on his zone, and then perhaps you open up a tri-lane with this Ricky or something else.
I am really down with that point on paper. I haven't necessarily seen it.
I would love to see tri-lanes into Snapfire Rubik with the melee core.
Like, how much clock have you seen, Lizard? Like,
I've seen that happen many times. Like in the last couple of days as well. The clock with a couple of bracers, with a couple of gauntlets, starting off on his own, creep skipping, cogging his creep wave. Like he can actually lane alone right now. The only problem is he will not pressure the enemy carry.
This is interesting. Gambit in their second phase bans here has really taken two heroes off their own side that are very much in their playbook, in the troll and in particularly the PL. We talked about Dream on that hero is amazing. You have to wonder what they're looking at second phase here.
PL is obviously one of the strongest carries still, and he's really good versus Ricky.
Yeah,
so
he plays really well
against
reasons,
both heroes.
Yeah.
Whose style do you like best? I gotta say, I think the circle glasses. I mean, DuBu and Skeeter, like they just seem. It's just cool. I just like it.
No, dude, circle glasses are for chumps. You gotta have rectangular glasses. I mean, come on.
I don't think so.
Look at this panel.
All right, Boomer.
Okay, look at this panel right now.
Looks.
Get out of here.
Whatever. So.
I don't know. They're rocking the circle glasses really well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like DuBu, I love that look on DuBu. I trust him more, you know?
That's why I wear glasses on the panel.
That's why I've never gotten contacts in how many years. I have to do everything I can to not look like a dumbass.
Sure, you got to work a little harder.
I know. Okay, all right. There's another hero. You talk about heroes that got the nerf in 724B, but I still think are really good. StarLadder's. Lifestealer is the other one that would complete the trio.
Well, to be fair, Lifestealer I think was the most significant. You even saw the win rate drop
in pubs. Yes.
Because now the Lifestealer weakness was always being weak in lane. Now it's like Valve shined a beacon. Hey, if you want to beat Lifestealer, crush him in the lane, and that's just what everyone does now. StarLadder a little bit of nerf, but he still kind of fills the same role.
Instantly into Medusa.
And, hold up, on the down low, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do the build that wins. Something into Rapier. Go end. They're gonna do it. Mark my words.
Okay.
And this is an incredible Dusa game. It really.
Darkseer is not what I thought we would see in response.
No, it wasn't.
There are a couple heroes left in the pool that I feel like punish Medusa.
Right,
Ricky is a natural diffusal carrier.
You can perhaps think about some combos now with the Darkseer. You have the Lich with the Vacuum, but that's not that great. You need something more with the Vacuum Wall, right?
Yeah, I want a combo with it. You need something that stuns on top of the Vac, not a cloud, not a hook shot.
The problem is you're last picking your mid, so you don't really have a ton of options there.
And you got to assume it's going to be going up against a Dusa, so the typical, say, Ember Spirit maybe doesn't look so.
I think you have to OD. OD is the mid that best deals with Dusa out of those left.
Yeah, for sure. I think that you should fourth pick it though, because if I'm crazy, I just take that out immediately.
I completely agree.
OD or maybe Sniper, but even Sniper doesn't seem scary. All right.
Have seen that.
I guess they were just more worried about the tempo, because the thing about the OD is if you get a BKB up on the Dusa, you just deal too much damage is the thing. It is a counter pick to an extent, but OD still needs a lot of time. And if you look at this draft, where would the mid game come from, right? If you have OD Riki cores, there's a lot of anti-synergy with the lineup, and there's absolutely zero building damage against a Dusa lineup. That's always a tough spot to be in.
If you want building damage, Lone Druid is still on the table. Am I seeing this right?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. I like that hero a lot.
And you can run that hero mid, as we saw in the first series.
Again, just with the clock. This clock, just to me,
I wouldn't like Lone Druid for Gambit, right? Yeah. I wouldn't really like that hero for them. Like overall, perhaps it does give you objective taking, but. Also, is GPK really a Lone Druid kind of a player?
No, he really isn't. I think SF maybe is more likely.
SF is if you want to build it, yeah.
Because then you also have the SF clock, right? Which we don't see very often, but it's still kind of busted.
Sure, I mean, until they remove the cog deny mechanism, which there's little evidence that that's ever going to happen.
I mean, obviously, it's not a broken mechanic, or we'd see it a lot more often, and it is kind of weird. It's just an example of like the rules of Dota, right? There aren't any. It's just like this one interaction that SF can get souls for. And feeding wards to Roshan as Venomancer, and then he gets the last hit on the deny.
But recently SFs have stopped going for the souls anyway early on. You go for those raises, you get level 2, so it's not really that big of a deal.
But I think against a Dusa, just being able to outlast hit her early is huge, because Dusa typically will pressure you with snake spam until level 3.
Do you have enough of if you go something like an SF here, if you just think about the tempo of the game, does SF give you enough power to end the game quickly enough against the Dusa line?
I think so. I think with the addition of the Darkseer, it does, because you're able to go for a timing with your second, third item plus BKB on SF and a Greaves on Darkseer. And then you look at the damage output from KheZu and you realize, wait, if they don't have the ability to have Dusa stand front line and smack something with amp on it, you just don't have damage.
Gambit actually banned out the Kunkka, so they're thinking that this Medusa necessarily isn't even mid. Yeah, it could be safe lane even in their eyes.
It could be, but this to me is a 100% Bryle hero. But I know Skiter does play it, and
really, I always feel like Bryle is that playmaking kind of a hero.
No, Bryle has played a fair amount of Medusa.
Oh, Arcor.
I like
okay. This takes away the time. To me, like this is the thing. Crazy, dude. I would place my house, were I to own one, that this Medusa is going to get a second or third item rapier, and he's going to make this Arc Warden pick look silly, because all of a sudden those bubbles are going to do not a goddamn thing.
I mean,
Well-
they will still defend the high ground. They
You
will
just stand
still-
on it and
yeah.
hit the tower. You stand on the bubble, you hit the tower, and the rest, you can't even approach the Dusa because it's 300-400 damage a
One
shot.
problem that I see from that is there's a lot of displacement abilities on the side of Gambit. If you go uphill
Yes.
like that with Medusa, you suddenly have Lich pulling you, you have Vacuum, you have Cog separating everyone else together with the smoke screen. It won't be that easy, but you know, it's one of those issues that I always see with Arc Warden. He's really good at defending high ground, but the moment he steps low ground, he just gets crushed. However, in the laning stage as well, once he hits that 6, he can seriously pressure Medusa, specifically now when that Mystic Snake doesn't take his mana away anymore, so.
That's a good point. You can see DuBu leading the troops to discussing this final pick, running low on time, but it's only the mid or carry decision remaining.
You got to believe that Medusa's your mid, and you're picking some more of a tempo carry, right?
Just something to make some plays. You want to be able to get on top of the Arc Warden.
There's your.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess,
Lifestealer.
you know, okay, here's the thing. You know you're not going to be pressured in the lane as much because there's a Dark Seer up against you. It's just
Right.
going to shove it under your tower.
You need something that can last an
But-
under tower, and you need something that can get in
It's
the
a
Arc
good
Warden
Flower
space
Dart
in the mid.
combination as
Yeah,
well, right?
that's true.
You have that.
It's just,
I think KheZu have him out drafted.
I think so too.
gonna
I'm
say.
just not sure I like the Lifestealer just because if you get ahead as Gambit here, there's no real method of recovery for this crazy lineup. It's effectively all on the supports and StarLadder to just kill things and pray that these two cores eventually carry them.
My only question is, how do you get ahead?
Yeah, are your lanes strong enough to do that?
Are your lanes strong
That's a
enough?
good point.
Arc Warden needs to have a really good laning stage. So does Riki. Which one of them will be the playmaker? Arguably, Riki is better, right, in the mid game. But recently, we have seen these builds on Arc Warden with 4 raid bans into Maelstrom. That can be the case too. But it all doesn't matter if you have a strong Nyx with StarLadder just running you down in the mid game.
And that's why I definitely lean their way. I think also this build on the Lifestealer, still, if you survive the landing phase, that armlet into Deso Abyssal or Halberd build is insane. The math on it is nuts, and you, with a StarLadder specifically, can be like 3rd, 4th, 5th net worth. Once you get these core items up, you're dealing more damage than any of the heroes on Gambit anyway. Then there's a Dusa.
We have set ourselves up here with a great matchup. Our analyst thoughts on the draft are a little bit mixed going into this game. It's going to be GPK and Bryle duking it out early. And here to tell you all of the action, Toby won and winner.
Yes, that's right. Things are the way they should be. Kyle is uncertain, and Winter is here being an analyst. So that's the way we should have it, right?
Well, thank you, Toby. That was wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm sorry. I'm no LD.
Don't worry, you're Toby. I still love Toby. LD is not here, so say no to LD now.
Sorry. Taken. Let's get into our game. We're having ourselves a nice little chuckle over the last potential pickup. We were actually throwing out the Lifestealer as a potential option earlier on, before the Arc Warden pickup came, and you thought maybe Broodmother would just walk over this. But we have the Lifestealer, so let's look at KheZu just by themselves with their draft. How do you like that so far?
I mean, I like the draft overall. The plans, what they have in mind. Lifestealer is going to be the playmaker. He's going to move around. Medusa is going to be farming. We had this funny discussion. You were asking, where is this Medusa going to go? I'm telling you, doesn't matter where he goes, mid lane or safe lane, he's one position.
You're number one with me.
So Lifestealer would be a perfect combination with the StarLadder to roam around and make space. But for Gambit, I was quite surprised with the last pick, the Arc Warden, because I can understand that Arc Warden is a very good hero against Dusa. But Arc Warden, I feel like, doesn't really synergize well with their lineup. Doesn't really work very well with the Darks here.
Does Arc Warden feel more like the Miracle style pick? You know, I just have this hero that 50 minutes in, I will win this game for us.
He's a win condition hero for sure. But I just felt uncomfortable because he wasn't the 22 pick. He wasn't the ultimate last pick. So KheZu, in theory, could have picked something to screw his laning phase, but they did not. They choose to pick something that works well with their lineup.
Yeah.
What they need.
It feels like their initial plan
Yeah,
was to get Lifestealer, and the debate would have been like, do we want to move away from that plan
yeah,
or
because
not?
if they would have picked the Brood instead of the Lifestealer, it would mean that their win condition could have been moved to the Brood. And when you have Dusa on the team,
Yeah.
you kind of want to play for her. in general, so that it's easy for your team to run around.
Yeah, which means they needed to have a really good laner against the Darks here. Like, if he's Iron Shelling up, like, you get the Lifestealer, great matchup against him. Excess Vampire, he's starting off with his Battery Assault. Lifestealer did go for the Feast to begin with, but he'll have to break free of all these stuns. Now Skitter's in a lot of trouble, brought down by FNG. Moon and AUI were nearby, but FNG will get the bounty rune. Looks like AUI and Moon. Okay, FNG's going to go to the tower and play it safe. But this now means the double Iron Shell creep skip from Shachlo and Excess Vampire. And Lifesteal's actually TPing over to this point. I don't know exactly what he's going to do against.
Cancel a clarity. I think that wasn't too bad because the Darkseer, he used a lot of mana to do this. But at the end of the day, I could see what they're trying to do, Team Crazy, because they expected the Darkseer plus 2 supports to come top to contest the rune, and they wanted to make the Darkseer use his mana so that he doesn't have as much mana to go behind and do what he's doing right now, creep skipping. He's gonna have to, he still has 2 Mangles and a clarity.
He's gonna burn both of them and then leave the Iron Shell on the wave. Is it TP time?
No, at this point you're willing to die for the experience. I don't think dying matters so much for him. But
unless Excess Vampire is trying to find the kill as well, but okay, he'll zone out AUI.
Yeah, but then you kind of want to, you know, be more conservative in how you're using your mana. If you go for the kill and you have to use a lot of your health and mana and you don't get the creep wave, it might actually be bad for you, depending on how you get the kill. So I would say that the creep wave is the most important thing right now for the Darkseer. The kills are not so important.
Oh, this just feels so random with the way this lane is going. So you've got,
that's just Dota, you know, like.
Well, you've got a battle underneath the tier 2 tower for the Dire Wave. Lifestealer has managed to pull the Radiant Creep Wave to the Dire lane pull.
Yeah, this is actually very important, Toby. Like having this sentry to block off the camp so that the Lifestealer couldn't pull the wave here. So this is actually really, really important for the Darkseer.
Yeah, just trying to mess with that northern lane with the side pull.
Yeah, so that the Lifestealer doesn't, like he gets to do this small pull, but he doesn't get as much in return. And looking at the bottom lane, so it's normal stuff like we see this Lich Ricky lane, I think earlier today, and it was a very, very potent lane.
Well, they're going again. Quick jump forward, but Moon's already back out to safety. And still got hit hard enough. He'll have to burn both the salve as well as his clarity.
Yep, this lane is still pretty good for the StarLadder. The wave is near his tower. It will be quite deciding for the Ricky if he gets the pull here from the Lich. Yep, he gets the pull and he's going to be able to deny this whole wave of creep. This is actually a very big deal for him.
Also for Dream, now grabbing that DD rune in mid. Bryle has not had the greatest CS time. He's 3 for 5 versus the 8-6 of Dream.
This is like a boring lane. Everyone is gonna farm. Yeah, there's no kill potential until the Arc Warden has level 6.
Hey, I'll say this to you at the very start. Where did I not say this to you at the very start? The first 5 to 10 minutes, it's just like, well, no one should die during this moment. But once we hit 10-minute mark, maybe things get a little faster.
That's the caster curse. No one should die. Then moments later.
You know, as long as you don't say the phrase that I most detest, there's nothing going on right now. Like if any caster ever hears that, I just want to like grab a glove and slap him in the face. There's always something happening in a game of Dota.
Yeah.
Like Excess Vampire. Hey, Shachlo, welcome back to more levels.
That's what I like about the change with the outpost. You know, it actually makes the game more interesting. There's a lot of stuff happening. And for viewers, they are like happy with stuff happening. They don't like farming a lot.
No. Like even right now, like Darkseer can just pull this wave up. Actually you can contest the outpost. You got 2 supports up here that could be contesting that Dire outpost. There's something to go for. Obviously there's not that much benefit apart from a TP spot.
The issue is if they do that on the other support, then the StarLadder will be left alone and he will have a terrible time against the Lich Ricky. So that's like a trade-off if you do that. And StarLadder is not a kind of offlaner where you leave him alone and you feel very good about it. You don't actually feel good because
I was actually meaning Gambit. Like Gambit can actually take the Dire, like that Dire outpost up on the top.
They can do that, but right now it's still very early.
Bryle is having the crap beaten out of him in mid. 19-10 now at the 10-6, but Dream just keeps bubbling and standing his ground against Bryle, and Bryle could do absolutely no damage against him in return.
So this matchup is actually very skewed for the Arc Warden. I thought it was actually going to be like a farm fest, you know. Maybe the DD rune changed the lane somewhat. I think it was the 2-minute rune that he got a DD.
Shachlo's denying himself. He's gonna.
Hey, that doesn't matter. He needs to regen.
Yeah, but he saw AUI running for him, so that's why he surged himself in deeper inside the base to get away.
Did he manage to get the experience for the Darkseer dying?
I don't believe so. I think he was too far.
Yeah, but either way, it was the right move to do for Darkseer. So he's almost level 5. He's going to come back, contest the Bounty Rune. So everything is perfect for him. That's great play. Probably going to bring some items for the Clockwork Award.
Oh, Bryle really needs some help.
Yeah, and Aoi TP'd mid.
Dream.
So he's moving bot for the rune.
Well, managed to find the invis already. Open wounds out. Battle for the 5 minutes.
So 2 runes apiece? No, actually 3 runes for KheZu. They were able to snatch 1 rune away. And he's gonna move towards the bottom lane to try to set up a kill here with the StarLadder and Rubik.
Well, there's no sentry wars down just yet. FNG just planted one now, but it's outside the lane. This is a difficult thing to do because FNG's far enough away that GPK can just blink strike away if he needs to, but he needs to get into tricks. Yep, there's tricks. And away.
Like, the laning phase of Ricky has been so strong right now since the change. Like, so difficult for them to kill him, even with they have 3 stuns.
God. That kill on the Dooster in the mid lane. That's
The level 6 Arc Warden?
that is it is the level 6 Arc Warden, but I don't think he actually used his clone for that. It was just Clockwork rotating in. Hit cogs, hit battery assault.
Yeah, this is actually something that you see quite often. The first catapult, the supports will move towards middle to gank. Because that's the first catapult that will reach, that will start hitting the tier 1 towers. So it's either you go there to defend your tower or you go there to attack the enemy's tower. So in a lot of cases, it's quite mandatory for the supports to move towards middle during the first catapult timing.
Well, your clones are up now. Dream using the bubbles absolutely perfect. He's just burning through Bryle's mana, getting this damage in, but he'll lose his...
They both have observers, so they both
card.
see each other. So the Medusa is right now, he's happy that he killed the catapult, so he's going back to farming the jungle and stacking. And his supports are going to move to play with the StarLadder, because the catapult is still available in the bottom lane. It's all about the catapult right now when the catapult spawns.
Oh, jump forward, AUI. Oh, perfect dodge with the tricks. Dodging that StarLadder crush. MoonMeander will arrive. He's going to burn the stick charger, so he had enough for the bolt to fly forward.
Yeah,
Shachlo also lost his Kura in the middle of all of this, but it's just going to be a Lich to go down for the 3-man rotation of KheZu.
It's just going to be the Lich. For Gambit right now, it's all about where the Clockwork is going. Where is he playing? I think he's going to look for the Dusa. He wants to hunt him and maybe at least steal some XP from the Dusa doing some jungling. It'll be nice if you can actually get like, some wards down here.
It's rather difficult though. Like Shachlo is also inside the northern jungle, just taking up those camps. So what do? If you're Gambit, you add pressure to the tier 1 tower. If Dusa is hiding, you find a target to attack. And MoonMeander is that target. Down on the bottom rune, he's just trying to be pushed away. The cookie jump, able to give him that space. AUI even going to lend the blast just to get the extra slow, but Access Vampire's got the movement speed. Battery assault will wear off.
Oh, Clockwork.
He actually needs 2 more attacks to get this kill. That's only 1.
He is 388 move speed to 361, so he's gonna get it eventually.
It's like, okay, 8 HP. Run, Moon. Juke it. Fog of War. Something. Trees. Outplayed.
Yeah, but back to what you are saying about pushing the tower. I think this is something that sometimes players just don't think about so much when you're against like a hero that can jungle quickly, and they tend to try to hunt you in the jungle. But sometimes it's actually better that you can actually pressure and kill the tower rather than spending the resource and heroes to move into the jungle and hunt him, So getting the tower is equally as good because you remove the tower so he has less areas to jungle. Even though he's jungling at that point when you're pushing the tower, but over time, if you get the tower, he will be able to get less jungle farm later into the game.
Yeah.
That's why you
just
see
restrict his resource area.
Yeah, that's why you see sometimes counters being picked against like heroes like Alchemist. Magnus is like Pugna because he takes your tower, and you are a hero that wants to jungle, kill stacks, and you don't mind your towers going down.
I think it's battle time again.
Here
Darkseer
goes
going to surge the Clockwork forward with battery assault. Just needs to cog lock up AUI, actually pushing back. AUI in range of FNG, but Bryle and KheZu both TP forward. Nexus Vampire
Wow,
Being
that is
dragged in by MoonMeander, the tier 2 tower loses his life and the pressure. There are wraiths absolutely everywhere, and GPK, he's ready to jump in through the rear, looking for his own target. MoonMeander, first target, number 1, and then KheZu trapped here inside the Tricks of the Trade. At least he didn't get the crush off, and GPK has to just blink strike himself away to safety as Lifestealer hides inside the StarLadder.
Hey, you could see that what Dire is intending to do. Everything they're doing right now is to make the game of Medusa better. Like whenever she gets jumped on, there's a lot of TPs coming in. Even bringing the StarLadder and the Lifestealer, both the cause towards the mid lane too. I think this is a very important move. They have to defend this tower.
I love this actually. Because they take the outpost, now Lifestealer comes over to try and contest it. They're just trying to stop him from getting the 10-minute mark. They don't control a single outpost here, Crazy. And Excess Vampire, yeah, he's in a little deep, but Shachlo's here to help out too. Back to create some space, while FNG looks to grab the other runes.
That's a really, really big blow towards the supports on the Dire side. So the experience is very, very crucial for them. But at the same time, they still did get 2 bounty runes on the bottom side, so not all is lost for Crazy. Medusa is happy, still farming the jungle, clearing some stacks. And the game plan right now for Crazy is very, very simple. They have to try to defend their towers as long as possible, cut creep waves, drag the creep waves away, and just buy time for the Medusa to come online.
Dream just keeps adding so much pressure to this mid lane. AUI, gotta be careful of those Spark Rays. They look like mini Vipers though.
This
but
pick has been working so much better than I expected. All it has to do with the laning phase going so well. I did not expect the Medusa to get pressured by the Outwarden so much in the laning phase.
But
There was this one gank by Clockwork, but even before the gank, Medusa was already losing her lane quite badly.
Mass TP's coming to the bottom lane. No screen up, but they just go after KheZu, able to get the double stun, but then the cogs. Perfect trap him. KheZu's going to actually burn so much life, and Skiter, oh, he'll rage up as well, looking for his own attack. He'll only be able to get one. Lifestealer just walks away inside the Hellbear Smasher. You are right, Deuce is getting a lot of farm right now.
That was rather strange because I think they did it a little too quick. The 2 supports on the Rubik was like still around this area. The Snap was walking down, so they needed maybe another 20 seconds to get down to the bottom lane. So if they could have actually had 4 people here, I think they might have been able to take the fight. But they were a little bit too eager to touch the tower right there.
They want to go again on bottom.
Hook
shot is available for Excess Vampire.
That's the right play. They have to try to drag the Radiant team to this area so that the Medusa gets all the farm on the other side, so she feels safe farming.
Well, they smoke far enough away from the Dire Observer ward, but the rotation's coming towards.
Yeah, they see her. There's a ward there on around the Ancients area.
And they'll see Snapfire as well. And that's a level 6 Mortimer Kith.
Your favorite Dota 2 spell.
Actually it was great because it gave me one of MMR recently, but once it got nerfed, less great.
I know what you're abusing right now.
That's well, when you're in the trench with me, that's what you got to abuse. Bottom lane, it's right now it's only a clone that will die, and well, just like the Emperor, send the clones to die.
Oh, I didn't know you were a Star Wars fan.
No, whatever, no. I kept it really secret on the DL. Yeah, Excess Vampire is just itching to use this hook. But they keep running underneath the Dire Observer ward.
You can see like what...
Oh, used it. Got him. KheZu trapped in here with the Tricks of the Trade. Here comes Mortimer's. Kisses. That's a big sloppy one. Ricky doesn't want it. He'll blink himself away. He manages to dodge that last little attack. Excess Vampire will have to lose his life for it. But GPK, is there another way to jump forward? Yeah, there is. There's cookies.
Good dodge. Good dodge.
He knows he has to move over to FNG, but if Skiter does, he comes in range of both Dream and Shachlo.
Yeah, but that's what Crazy wants. They want the attention of the Medusa, you know.
Let Bryle farm. Let Bryle be one, right?
Forever the one and only user.
That was a good song. What was that? Breakfast Club? I am the one and only.
So the plan is pretty simple right now. As you can see what has the Dire team doing for the last 13 minutes. Medusa is just the king or the queen. Everyone is just doing everything for the queen to get farm, get items, so the queen will carry the game. Throwing bodies, throwing heroes, dewarding. And the Radiant team is going to try to close down the map as much as they can, try to control Roche. Is anyone getting... They probably need a medallion. They don't have the best Rosh lineup. But talking about Roshan, I think one of the things that you want to try to focus on when you're Radiant is try to abuse the Roshan, because the Dire team tends to have a natural inherent advantage of farming the two Ancients on the bottom side of the map, because that's how you naturally move as Dire. And they scan
Smoke's
Ricky.
broken. They're going to smoke it up. Gpk will try and hide inside the tricks. They drop a sentry ward as well. A little early on the stun from KheZu, but he had the bash ready to go.
No way, not this time, GPK, not this time.
There's a lot of support arriving. Are they still ready to fight here, Gambit? Look for a good target.
Bounty runes.
Yep, Dream is here, ready to fight. He's got a fresh Maelstrom, hook shot forward. Able to get that control over on the StarLadder. Has the crush valve, never been able to get it off. But Skiter, man, he went in real deep inside the ball. AUI popping up the kisses from downtown. The Dream, now he'll move over the Chain Frost and able to continue the bounce. MoonMeander hiding the live stealer, but man, that cookie gets the double stun on Dream as well as FMG. The FNG able to walk away, and Dream, well, he will actually go down, but not before he gets himself a double kill, and KRAZY have 4 people down.
One Dusa against the whole world. At least she got 1 kill. That was actually a pretty big kill. That was like, what,
Lich
4?
getting the money.
Really? Lich got the money?
He's coming for all the bounties.
Oh.
And Darkseer got both the bounties up on top.
Bryle got the kill bounty on the Outwarden, so that was 400 gold for him. That was a, I think it was a still quite a reasonable bounty for him, even though they have 5 heroes and losing 4. I still think it's reasonable for Team KRAZY.
We get to watch that initiation once again. Skiter really found himself in like harm's way.
And here comes the Dusa. She just TP'd in, drops a Mystic Snake, and but still couldn't help his team turn the fight around. But he got a big kill on the Outwarden here.
Oh, we're back to live. Shachlo trying to do his stuff on 40 HP, or 49 HP. He's able to get both mech and 1 charges off. The Surge, even shields. Skiter says maybe this is not worth it. They have a creep wave to farm and a ward to deward. We start getting our next wave of items up and running, so...
Diffusal done on Ricky. Outwarden has Dragonlance done soon. I don't feel like this is like the particular strong timing they want to hit. They need a lot more items on the Outwarden, because the purpose of picking the Outwarden is to make sure that they outscale the Dusa in late game. So this is going to be most likely a very long and drawn out game.
Yay!
Wow, Toby's favorite kind of game.
What's going to be longer, the pause or the game?
Probably the game at this rate.
I like how you could just use Spark Race to just scat everything. So Arcwarden, time to create more Spark Race. Nice sinister gaze, pulling KheZu over the hookshot, actually catching Excess Vampire, trying to fight inside the bubbles as Mortimer's kisses. Oh, the cogs actually pushing GPK up. He has to jump himself away, but my God, Lifestealer, you were so far away from the rest of your team. Now Bryle, on almost no mana, being hunted down. Telling you to pick up and throw back, creates a little bit more space. But once again, Excess Vampire splitting this fight with the cogs. Bryle, Sinister Gaze once again was 1 charge, is giving him a little bit more time to survive, but not enough time to get away. Down to 50 seconds, and MoonMeander also on the retreat, but GPK is having the time of his life. Diffusal Blade up, and they just could not keep the run going. And Gambit are going to have a huge momentum swing now.
They were kind of not on the same page. I think if they took the fight here, because the supports of KRAZY plays Observer and Sentry on this area, and they were all standing on the high ground if you remember the last fight. But the Lifestealer decided to, I think that was a big mistake. He chased down the ramp, and he went and he was here. And his team was here. If they stood here and all behind Dusa, I think they had a really good chance of winning the fight. But the mistake was running down the ramp. This is like a lot of mistakes that the inexperienced team make. When you think you have the advantage and you chase, that's when you lose your advantage.
Yeah. You're just so heavily separated.
Yep, I'm sure you hear a lot about fight under your vision. Don't go to the enemy's vision.
Well, KheZu in more trouble once again. Came out of the Observer and Sentry that Gambit had down, and the Spark Wraith will chase him, and that won't actually get the kill. Down to 48 HP, but it's enough to get away, but won't say the same for MoonMeander.
Space, Toby. Look at who is farming. Space.
Yeah, but...
the queen is farming.
Uh-huh. But look where Excess Vampire comes.
Oh,
Hook shots
no.
over. Cogs to push back as well. Now onto the battery assault. Lich has arrived. Dream's got his clone up and running. And even the Ancient Prowlers are coming in to make life an absolute living hell. Wait, is that Vampire Fangs? Okay, they belong to the Lich. I'm like, that would be really unfortunate if that belonged to KheZu and they lost it.
Okay, never mind about the space, Toby. No space.
Yeah, tier 2 towers will be falling very quickly. Arc Warden was ready to push this down. GPK, this really feels like a rookie as well. Like compared to the rookie we saw in our first series today, this rookie feels so much more of an influence with his Diffusal first build.
I mean, you have to understand, having the Dark Seal with the Riki is a huge difference in that in this game. You have the extra damage from the Iron Shell, because the previous game we were talking about damage issues that Moo had in the game. He couldn't do enough damage, and this game it's a lot different because it's Dark Seal Riki. It's not just the Iron Shell, but also the vacuum into the combo, the smoke screen, and your tricks of the trade.
Yeah. And nicer synergy for Gambit, and it's good to see Gambit too. Like I was wondering like if the PR was really going to reflect inside of their gameplay with GPK coming back, but it definitely feels like this is the confident Gambit you would have expected to turn up. That Dream Clone, that's a lot of wasted time trying to kill it.
It's a lesson learned, you know, Toby. Teaching the players a lesson.
What lesson is to be learned here, Winter? Please teach me, oh wise one.
Trust your teammates. Don't always think that the grass is greener on the other side.
A lot of money there. Roshan. Gambit's going up.
I'm done, Toby.
You done? You done?
You win.
Well, Roshan.
Okay, Roshan loses.
Full Hurricane Pike now done for Arc Warden 2, so welcome to more maneuverability to play around with. And they are definitely going to put this Aegis Immortal to the test. It is in the hands of the Arc Warden. Protecting Dreams 7-1-3 he's currently got.
The dire game plan right now is to drag and drag and drag. Buy Solar Crest, buy all the team items, buff the Dusa, and hope she carries the game.
Is that when you think about like Rapier first?
Yeah, maybe they see that order and
Clockwork. He's gonna be picked up. Cogs once again splitting things up. Has hookshot available and shots away up to the Centaurs. Northern now, and GPK comes back in for the fight. Gets hit by the bash, and look at KheZu go for the fact as well as the wall. MoonMeander, he'll burn out and actually dying to the illusions. But Mortimer's Kisses actually caused a lot of problems for GPK, so he's lost his life too. But they want Bryle once again being isolated in the midst of a whole bunch of illusions. But now the real boy has arrived. Dream is here, ready to fight. Now Skiter also pops himself out, ready to fight. Bryle's got himself a double kill out of this. He may be get a triple if FNG wants to stick close, but Bryle, he's still being hunted by Dream. Now Skiter as well. The cause, they just don't have the bite left anymore. Dead, without buyback available. Even the Spark Wraith looking to chase down StarLadder. It won't be enough damage, but the second one, can it actually lich in time? No, it won't. So they'll get back out to safety thanks to the cookies.
I'm sorry, the Medusa is no longer queen. Arc Warden is the king.
She's just the princess. hasn't been crowned yet. I do not hold the orb.
The only reason Dire made that move was because of this Absolute Ward here. They saw the Arc Warden TP bottom, so they knew that he couldn't get here in time, so they decided to smoke. It was a good move, but they didn't get the Dusa out of trouble. The fight draw down for way too long. It was still nice to have the infest on the Dusa, so they buffed up the Dusa a lot.
You get to watch that fight once again.
I think they need a Solar Crest on the Dusa, honestly. Solar Crest, do they have Blats? Yeah, they already have Blats on the StarLadder. Yeah, they just need a Solar Crest. I think it's going to make a huge difference on the Dusa.
More than a Hurricane? Because you also want to try it, like, at least with a 4-star, if you can get yourself out of the Clockwork Cogs.
But I still think the Solar is going to be very important to give him the armor. Just that slight armor and that slight move speed is going to make a difference in the team fights. Because the Medusa is going to want to stand and just dish out damage with the Blats and the Solar. Like if you have to run as a DuSa with the 4-star, I think the fight more or less is gonna be very difficult for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the fact that you need to reposition away from the cogs or the Dark Saber areas.
You want the stance, you want the range, you want the reposition if someone gets on top of you. Like, all these things are very, very nice, but you can't reposition away from a Riki.
And the issue right now is they don't have so much resources compared to Gambit, so they have to choose how to spend the gold wisely. What items do they need to get?
This is what you do. You put Medusa in a bubble. Rubik stole the magnetic field. It's like, okay, Bryle, stay high ground, stay in my bubble, and keep them away from you.
Such a reliable way to play.
Yeah, definitely. High percentage and will definitely always be there for when you need it.
So, I mean, he has the bubble now, so I don't know if he's going to keep it for the whole game.
Well, this is easy for Dream. Taking a tier 1 tower from out of range.
Okay, say he gets the bubble and the DuSa has the rapier. I can see them actually winning the fights.
Really? Okay. Well, he has the bubble. He has the bubble.
Step 1.
It's just Step 2, maybe a little bit further away.
Step 2, lose all bounty runes.
Unfortunately, step
Did
1
they get
has...
the outpost? Oh, yeah, they have one out. Oh, sorry, never mind. It's 25 minutes. They're
Yeah.
gonna smoke bot again because they saw a few heroes at bot. I think they saw the Darkseer. I'm not sure if they saw the Darkseer.
They see Darkseer definitely now.
Yep. So
But
this is again a similar move from before where they.
But they don't have to blink on StarLadder yet. They don't have that
don't
quick
need,
jump.
They don't need to. They just need to run in and fight and kill someone right now because the enemy is not together.
Well, they know with the Dire Observe Ward. Yeah, okay, now they see the Darkseer for a second, but do they want to come underneath the tier 1 tower for that fight? It looks not.
Yeah, still, but still, it's like you can see the idea why they're moving because if you pay attention to the vision, they always have vision on both sides of the map. This is like kind of like a very good example of ideal vision. So you have information about where the enemy is moving, who is moving top and bottom, so you can decide whether you want to smoke top or bottom. It makes everything very easy for you. The hard thing is they're 11k behind. That is the difficult part.
Hey, step 2 is coming. Step 2 is coming. He has a rapier queued up as the next item for Bryle.
Step 2 is going to take 10 minutes. I'll check back on that.
Step 1's
minute
timing out in 30 seconds. Hook shot. Jump forward towards KheZu. Another great reposition there from Excess Vampire, just pushing StarLadder down in range of the sinister gaze of FNG.
There goes step 2.
But don't worry, step 1 is protecting the tower with the bubble, but step 1 is now timed out.
Step 3, buyback on StarLadder.
There's a lot of steps to this plan. I don't know if if they're the step masters. And Dream is just forcing his way in. Lifesteal's not even involved in this. He's got his Desolator. He's still trying to finish up his Halberd. So yeah,
the bubble on Rubik.
Just bubble it away and kill off. And Fortify. Yep, you can kill off the clone. He's got another one in 10 seconds.
Oh, he's going to lose it. It's running out. Okay, so going back to the reliable way of playing Dota. Waiting for the Rubik to get the bubble again.
All right, come on. Here's the Clockwork Hook. With no vision whatsoever, Excess Vampire will now gain vision, get blocked.
You're just going to make him miss at this rate.
Oh wait, Skitter's taking the perch creep. Oh wait, no, he's trapped. He's trapped inside the cogs, inside the tricks of the trade. He can't move outside the smoke screen. He's dead for a minute without buyback available. That's step 5.
What is step 5?
Not that.
Tell me someone saw that.
Okay, Toby, space. DuSa is farming.
There's only so much you can do with this space. I suppose you could buy a Demon Edge, like sell a Race Band and buy a Demon Edge. Like that's potentially something. Plus 42 damage.
To be honest, there's no point saving.
And she's got the plus 35 damage from the Greater Fairy Fire, so damage is being increased.
Yeah, but like I said, there's no point saving buyback. To be honest, if you have to buy back on Medusa at this point of the game, you're
lost.
You're done. You're done.
Okay. Well, as long as DuBu can keep this creep wave out of the mid, there will be some level of protection up on the top. Dream sends in the Arc Warden illusion. Where's my fort?
Where's the bubble?
Where's the bubble? The bubble is needing to be stolen as Arc Warden just pushes himself forward. It's like, well, if you want the bubble, Moon, well, it's going to cost you your life. He's so low at life. 36 HP, he's able to survive. He's trying to get it, but all he's got is spark rates.
It's okay, the next steal. He'll get it the next steal, so don't worry. Okay, step number. Okay,
But this-
I lost count.
It's a very long guidebook, all right? Like how Moon Spark Rays are actually, I think they're exactly the same. Has he got it? No, he's got Iron Shell. I guess you'll take it. Hey, KheZu, come and hold this for me. Top Brax has been taken. AUI has been doing his normal thing, like sitting, creep skipping out. Normally he would do that with Alina, but Snapfire, I suppose, just as good. And he'll TP away in
I
time.
can tell how much you like to play Snapfire from that statement.
That is no, yes, no.
The wave clear is fun, I have to admit.
I just think it's absolute BS just how far you can fire Mortimer's kisses from. It's just like, you know what I need to do? I need to sit like halfway
fine,
back.
That is half the fun of the hero.
Oh,
But the other,
what's the other half?
clearing creeps and farming items with Q and W.
Oh, so obvious.
I can tell you like to play Jakiro as well, because that's what Jakiro does.
I actually really like Jakiro just for pressuring towers, like with liquid fire.
Yeah, that's just an excuse for farming your lanes.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
like
pushing
the
this lane
best
so I can
farm for
pressure the
Jakiro
tower.
is towers. That's an interesting AUI. What was that?
Space.
You can't keep saying space as a reason for everything. That's not possible. You're gonna run out of things to have reasoning of space. What? Deuce is getting closer to a rapier? Oh, actually, that's true. Deuce is getting closer to a rapier. And he cookied underneath the outpost that belonged to the Radiant side into perfect vision.
I mean, you're past 5. I think he's doing the right thing.
He did bring attention away
Okay,
from
it's
the
true.
top.
Toby, if he's not trying to do that, what else can he do? He already pushed the wave. There's nothing left for him to do.
So okay, so if I can't push a wave and I can't farm items, which is what Snapfire's half
You
of
break
Snapfire's good.
as a support.
You break smoke. Wait, that was smoked? Okay,
You use your body
oh.
as information for the carry to farm. I'm serious, I'm not trolling. Why are you
Of
laughing?
course.
Why are you laughing?
The first Filipino macho man has said, just use your body.
Come on, Toby.
No one forget it. No one has forgotten
You're not
that.
a true support player, even though you say you play Jakiro.
You keep that Arc Warden clone stunned up. They've actually got some really good control against that. But I'm fairly certain Moon wants to stop picking up Spark Rays.
Why do you hate on the Dusa? Why?
I'm not hating on the Deucer. The Deucer is great later on. Putting words in my mouth. Bryle's actually getting really close to that rapier.
You're just upset the core is getting all the gold, and the supports are not farming.
That's definitely not what I'm upset about.
At this point, he can't even buy the rapier.
Oh no, Courier's on the task.
I mean, they might have
The Courier's coming out. He's
to
bringing the
buy.
Wraith Band with it, so he's actually able to sell the Wraith Band to have just the right amount of money.
Yeah, but there's gonna be a ward. Okay, he might run.
Hang on,
past-
why is the Wraith Band? He could just sell that back at base as well. He doesn't need to sell that as part of the thing.
Go. Escort. Escort the Dusa.
Come on, Courier.
Escort the Dusa, the queen.
Come on. Just remember what Leonardo said as one. Rapier! 32 minutes in. Meanwhile, Roshan being taken like it's fine. Step 2. Step 2 now.
So you went from Star Wars to 300.
What can I say? I'm a cinephile.
Stand on your vision to take the fight. Thank you.
That's an
So far, so
interesting
good.
spot to be. They're dropping. All right, so KheZu has BKB ready. They're running around the back. Excess Vampire does something. He gets the cogs off in time. Quickly pushed away. MoonMeander attacked by GPK. He'll push himself up with the 4-star, trying to get further out of this one. It's a good Darkseer wall in the mid. And it looks like Moon actually gets away with his life. The Stone Gaze is out. The damage is good. But then again, can it still be continued? The Rubik is gone. The Mortimer gets
Save
to
the
fly
queen.
forward. But now that Queen must be protected at all costs. Skiter, man, that's so much damage he takes. The Queen is dying. The Queen is dead. 80 seconds on the sideline. GG, well played. There is no coming back from this. Gambit were looking for the straw that would break Crazy's back, and they got it. It was to kill the Queen.
They were doing all the right moves, I think, for the Dire team. Given the situation they have, I think they played the game very well despite losing. They did all the things that they are supposed to be doing. The warding was excellent. Vision was really on point.
You just probably would have
The
preferred a Broodmother in the mid as opposed to Deucer.
No, I think that the Dusa, I was just very surprised by how bad the Dusa lost her lane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the thing with the pick sequence, because they last picked the lifesteal, but the lifesteal is not exactly going to be the win condition hero.
Mm-hmm.
But initially I thought, Medusa is going to farm against Ark, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to talk about pick sequence. If you're going to leave the playmaking hero last, and then he's not the win condition hero, and your win condition hero is picked earlier, but you cannot secure the laning phase for the Dusa, then that becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe it's just really down to like how it was played, like having that magnetic field Spark Wraith, like it just felt like Deuce was always on the back foot, having to
And
like
the double
get some
damage,
life somewhere.
and the double damage in the what, 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah, you had the double damage, and then the clock rotated shortly after that, and then you lost the Deuce. The Deuce died at that point.
The clock rotation was when the lane was already bad for the Dusa. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, he made it worse, but it was already going bad at that point
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah, and no matter how much space you try and create, you can't save that game. But hey, there's a great way to actually have another crack at it. Come back for game 2.